Yeah,
Mm.
$60. That was at my discount.
Milk, I think a milkshake is something like
Don't make
$8
me
or
big.
$9. Oh, sorry, are we starting? I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
I would like to call the meeting to order, and as we meet today, we remember that we are resident in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Mi'kma'ki people. We are all treaty people with responsibility to each other and to this land. And now we have our public forum, and we have our guests, Councillor Tom Bremner, Brian Webb, and Ashley Marlin. Welcome to everybody. Approval of do we have anybody online?
We do not.
We do not. You guys are first up on the agenda, but we'll just do a little bit of business first. Everybody has had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions or comments about the agenda? You usually do.
I have one, but I'll bring it up in the in-camera.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, if there are no objections, then I rule that the agenda is approved as read. Approval of the minutes, any errors or omissions from the last meeting? No, I place on the table that the minutes of the September 17th, 2025 monthly meeting be approved as presented or amended. May I have a seconder? I had three seconders.
Take your pick.
Pick one. I will place on the table that the minutes of the October 8th, 2025 special meeting be approved as presented or amended. May I have a second? Thank you, Gloria. Okay,
You need to vote.
no, it's unanimous. I don't gotta call a vote if there's no objections. Not like we're overwhelmed with parliamentary procedure here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special presentation about community beautification from Brian Webb and Ashley Marlin from MODC Economic Development. Welcome.
Thank you. Do you want us to, I'm assuming we just sit here and talk, is that fine?
If you're comfortable there,
I'm more than comfortable here, as long as everybody can hear.
our ears are just flapping in the breeze.
Okay, Ashley's gonna hand out just a handout that we brought to kind of go over what we're talking about today. So I'll just let her hand out before I start talking.
Excellent, thank you, Ashley.
Oh, sorry, did you get mine?
All right. Okay, so the reason that we're here is we just wanted to essentially introduce what we think is an exciting new program that we are trying to implement across both the municipality of Chester. So both here in the village of Chester as well as in our municipalities hamlets. So those are Hubbards, Chester Basin, New Ross, and Western Shore as well. So what that is, the chair already mentioned, it's our community beautification and revitalization plan. And so what we frequently hear, and I'm guessing you've probably heard it from some people as well over time, is we frequently hear from community members and from our councillors that improving the attractiveness and vibrancy of our public spaces is really a priority to a lot of people in the municipality and in the village as well. And so what we've been trying to do is put together some plans for how we might be able to work on this in key areas throughout the municipality. And one of the things that we're trying to do, and this is what the graphic is on the handout that you have there, is trying to look at what makes a great place. So what is it about a place that makes it something that people will be attracted to, that makes them want to stay? So that wheel, you can dig into it later if you wish, but essentially it has 4 key themes, which are, am I able to get there? So how is it connected to other parts of the community? Are you able to play and participate? So that's kind of how you engage with the space when you're there. So are there activities to do? Are there different things that you can engage with while you're there? Also, are you able to stay? So we call that lingering. So does it keep people in that space? Because when you keep people in the space, that's when we get to the why behind this. But also, are you able to connect with other people? So does it provide an opportunity to meet neighbors or to meet new people to the community? Does it provide that sort of connection? And the reason why this is important is because I think everybody here probably knows this, but great public spaces, they definitely improve the quality of life for residents. They also improve the quality of the experience for visitors to the area as well. They attract people to the area, as well as businesses. They provide a great opportunity for businesses to get started, for entrepreneurs to have places where they can buy their wares and get started. And it creates opportunities for people to connect with each other. I already mentioned that, but it also can foster community pride, right? So it really has a way of getting people proud of the community and how it looks and how it feels and how they're able to connect with other people around them. So the next kind of section here that we're trying to go through is the what, when, and where. So I already mentioned that we put together a plan and process to look at our 4 hamlets across the municipality, as well as the village of Chester and its surrounding areas. So essentially in 5 different locations, and that ties very nicely. This is a recommendation that came out of our growth strategy that we've been working on at the municipality, that really talked about these places as being the areas where we are seeing growth in our communities, where people are already naturally gravitating towards in the municipality. So what that looks like and the when is we put together a kind of an outline of the plan that has 3 key phases. Now you'll see on the handout 2 phases. But we do have a larger plan that I'll just kind of touch on at the very end, and Ashley and I can forward you the overview of the entire plan later on. But this deals with the key themes that I want to kind of touch on tonight. So the first phase and this is kind of the main thing that we're hoping to discuss and introduce tonight, is the first phase that is starting now and going into 2026. And essentially what we're hoping to do over the next 8 months to a year is to identify some key community partners that would be interested in really looking at these key public spaces around the municipality and seeing how they could be improved and how they could be made more attractive. And to identify what those locations are. And so keeping in mind that wheel that is up at the top right of this handout, like, so what are the places in our community that are already doing that could just do it better, like that we could improve on? So some key places. And you would know this better than anybody else, but we're talking places like the Lido Pool and Parade Square and things like that, like areas that are already attracting people that maybe could just have more happening there, or we can do some cheap and cheerful work that would really spruce them up. And when I'm talking about cheap and cheerful plans to implement quick wins, that's the 3rd thing on the list here. The phase 1 is really about what can we do quickly that will start to make a difference. So usually when we're talking about these cheap and cheerful things, we're talking about things like street furniture or some paint or some different flowers and rocks that could be strategic. That really kind of start to make this feel like a place. But they're quick wins that don't cost a lot of money, but really can make a difference. And it's really about starting to build that momentum of looking at the space and say, how can we just make it better slowly, right? So that's what we're trying to do in phase 1, is kind of go through that 4 steps. So identify the places, identify partners, which we'll get to in a second, develop some cheap and cheerful plans, and then make it happen. So that's kind of what we're hoping to do in the next 8 months to a year. And then that builds into the second phase, which is listed here, which is to, as we're implementing for the first year, we want to continually evaluate how things are going and make changes on the fly. So if things are working really well, let's make it better. If things aren't working, let's change them and make them better. But it's also an opportunity for us to start this longer term planning. So what needs to be done in these places from a longer term perspective to really make them sing? I don't know if that's the right word. But essentially this could be things like streetscaping or traffic calming. So for example, it could be the streets, the sidewalks, and how we make those more active and vibrant, or we try to find ways to make our streets easier for walking and more walkable to people, so we can connect people to different areas of the village, as an example. It could also look at infrastructure that needs to be installed or dealt with in those areas to really make them more usable. And this could be things like, for example, one of the things we have for our arts and culture strategy, but also for tourism, is we realized that in order to draw more people into the area, we really need to focus on small to medium-sized events, as an example. And some of these spaces would really do that well, but they need so it's thinking about what the infrastructure needs might be in order to make these spaces really work for like, a music festival or an arts festival or whatever it is in the community, so that we can draw more people into the area and make it feasible. And it also, in that next phase, we're hoping to then start connecting some of these places that we're improving all throughout the municipality, so that we can introduce a lot of people to all these things throughout our communities, because we have multiple communities that are very attractive to people and we want to really let people get from place to place to place. Not on this sheet, but then the third phase is as we're implementing those long-term phases, we also recognize that there are other things coming up that we need to be aware of. Things like Chester waterfront redevelopment as the ferry potentially moves out to Blandford area, things like that. So we know that there's going to be new public spaces that come in as well that we need to be prepared for and start to work on. So that's an overview of the plan that we've put together and has been approved by our council. But why we're here today is the last part, which is the who. And so on the who part, what we wanted to introduce and discuss is 3 different key roles, and just introduce them to you, getting feedback that you might have, but also hopefully we can then start working collectively on maybe some next steps, not necessarily tonight, but we want to work with you on some next steps around this. Because the first key partner that we're looking for are our community partners. And that's because we, as the municipality of the district of Chester, we're going to get to our role in the second phase, but we want to work with communities to implement this. So it's not a municipality of Chester program, it's a community program that we are playing a strong support role behind it. So we want to work with people to determine an organization that can help bring together a core group of people from, in this case, the village of Chester, that can work with us to identify where are these spaces, what needs to be done, what are the plans that we need to provide, we need to find funding for it and provide and get them done. So this could be a well-positioned organization that could lead that work, or it could just be working with you guys to identify who might that be, how can we get this core group of people together so that we can start this work. And essentially what we're looking for is somebody to help convene that group and to ensure that there is actually an interest in getting this done, right? Because if there's no interest in doing it, we don't want to come in and lead this on behalf of the community. We want to support the community if they're interested in seeing this done. And that organization as well, or that group, would also likely need to be able to receive funding, obviously, because the municipality would likely be providing funding, as well as we would be working to identify funding for some of the bigger infrastructure projects as we go down the road as well. So municipality of the district of Chester, I kind of already touched on it, but the role that we really have determined, we believe that we could play very well, is to really support and facilitate this. So we don't want that organization to feel alone. So we want to come in and support the conversations and helping get to a plan and making sure that the conversations bring on past and helping find funding. And we likely will be supporting this with funding as well. And we call that being the backbone organization. So essentially being the spine that holds it together, but really doing that on behalf of a community group that wants to see this done and are the ones that come with the ideas and determine that, yes, this is the plan that we want to proceed. And the third role that we're really looking for as well is, well, there will be that core group of people that obviously would champion this. We really want to identify who's missing, who else could get involved, because I think probably everybody around the table here knows that there's usually a core group of people that volunteer for everything, and then there's a large group of people that don't get involved or don't feel that they're invited to get involved or whatever it is. And so we want to work both with the organizations we have identified, but also with the ideas around the table to say who's missing, how can we get them involved. So could it be the school groups, could it be whoever it is, let's try to find ways to get them involved and take more of an active role in this. So there are more people available to help with implementing plans as they come together. So that's the third thing that we're looking for assistance on as well. So that was good. That was a lot of talking, but essentially what we want to do is introduce that. And if there's interest, or if anybody's interested, or if you as an organization are interested, in partnering us, we'd love to follow up on next steps. So identifying how we get a core group together, how we identify who should be involved, and how we can work through this. Because we would really love to get this kicked off and work with you and with other people in the community to see this happen.
So would you see the commission as being one of the groups that would bring other groups in for, let's say, a day or an afternoon of discussing Village of Chester, and then you'd have another group for Hubbard and another for Western Shore and blah, blah, blah. So are you visualizing that our village commission as organizing a meeting of potential partners?
We would never want to presume that you would be. However, you were our first stop because we thought it would likely be something of interest to you as a group. And that you also have connections to a number of other groups that we maybe do not have. So we would love to work with you if that's something that would be of interest.
I think we can also throw in the gym block because we've been thinking of beautifying that for quite a few years, so we may just throw that in as our project.
And that's that's the idea behind this, is the community identifies these spaces and then works to say, okay, what can we do? And let's get it done. So, yeah, to the point is that especially phase one, the idea is not to take a long time discussing and going thoroughly through what the best thing to do is, but to what can we do quickly?
What's your time frame for phase one, like hitting the ground in the spring, I assume?
Hitting the ground in the spring, essentially from our perspective, so we are responsive to the community, but from our perspective, we would love to see plans proposed by the municipality's budget season, so we could include any.
And
potential
that is
asks.
when?
February, March usually.
February, March, okay.
Shouldn't put them on the spot, but that's usually
Okay.
what it is.
I'm gonna go around the table to the commissioners and let each one of them, Tom, would you start? Would you be good enough to start? Do you have any thought?
I just wanna know, do you have a budget?
So we don't have an identified budget per se. But for the cheap and cheerful, what I would say is that we're not talking large amounts. So the idea is to try to keep the first phase fairly light. So, from my past experience of working on these projects, you can do a lot for $5,000 or $10,000 when it comes to things like street furniture and paint and activating spaces and things like that. But we don't have a limit. But let's just put it this way, if the ask was $100,000, I don't think it would be approved on our end. But it's one of those things that I can imagine, especially on the cheap and cheerful side, that we want to keep it low. But then as we're going into the longer term plans, that's when there could be some infrastructure asks that we would then need to look for outside funding to support that. But that's a role that we are willing to play, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
The smaller projects, do you have an idea in mind? The municipality would be counting them for a third of the cost, or?
So I wouldn't want to put council on the spot, especially with somebody sitting right here in the gallery. So we're not asking for any money from the village, so it wouldn't, it's not a matching program, we're not looking for any funding from the village or any other partners. We would bring this forward as part of our budget planning process, and my initial estimate is I can envision with 5 different projects going across the region, I'm estimating in my head, that's probably going to be 10,000 per, which is about 50,000 to be bring forward to the budget. That's kind of what I have in my head right now.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, so you've already got some great things, so Geraldine's new visitor information, the Station 20, the farmer's market, which is going great, of course Ashley knows about. But you still have the question, which could all be even made better, but as long as that's a death game, trying to get in and out of that road, but you can't fix that, right? So, or can you fix that? Because that seems like an easy thing to do, right?
We should look into it, definitely it's a provincial road, but it would be.
Like that is something that, and you've got people taking their life in their hand
The
with
trail is there.
the trail.
Yeah.
And then you go to Hubbard's and you had the same thing after the sailing regatta. They were begging the province to keep that crosswalk. So you can promise all this stuff you want, but if the province isn't gonna play along, then it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely, and when we send this to you in its full, in its fullness, we do have in our longer term plans around trying to work on traffic calming with the province. So to your point, we can't control that completely
No.
because the roads are not ours.
No,
But both the growth plan and everything that we've heard around beautification, every one of these hamlets has issues with traffic.
And Queensland Beach, they don't wanna lower the speed because it's only a seasonal thing, right? I heard that so many
That
times.
one's obviously outside of our,
No,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
it's as they turn.
oh, it is, pardon me, I'm sorry.
I do have something to add that's not public. There's already a plan in place to cut across the bottom of where the market is, to straighten that road out.
You mean with the trailer? The trailer?
Yeah, well, they're talking about, you know how it's literally 90 degrees on each side?
Yeah.
They're talking about straightening it out. And it's fairly up on the,
I have on the list.
yeah,
yeah, I don't know anything about that, obviously, but we do have,
I have my
I,
sources.
but the point being is that we, that's something that is both a part of this, but not something that we'd be asking the community group to take on, you know what I'm trying to
Right,
say? It's-
yeah, but I just
it's
think those are kind of easy things to make the community better, right? And
Yeah.
these sort, they fit in your categories, but otherwise, I think it's a great idea.
Gloria, do you have some ideas?
I'd just like to see more benches and stuff around.
Yeah, well, that's what
And
when I
stuff,
said
and pop-
Jim Lot, do you
Yeah.
guys understand what I?
Absolutely.
Because we're thinking of terracing it and putting some picnic tables and benches and so on there.
That would be fantastic, and make it a little more accessible to walking.
Yeah, accessible. big
Even
word
up,
now.
Yeah.
Even up by Lordley Park, or like on top of the hill and by the library and
Yep.
stuff.
The library garden.
Yeah,
Yeah, benches outside, just, you know, people wanna just sit outside there and.
there's so many little
Little
projects
things
for
that you
phase
can-
one that.
Well,
you know,
and
are
that's the thing.
easy.
Why the community group is so important is because of the fact there's so much that can be done. What the benefit of this is that you actually put a plan in place that says, we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do, and you can start working your way through the plan. As opposed to having a huge list of lots of things that you wanna do, we can actually say, okay. So summer 2026, we're doing X.
Randy, did you have any questions or
Not
thoughts?
specifically, it's not an area that I really, am
Care, but-
really all that interested in. No, well, yeah, if you give me money, I'll be anything. No, I think, Tom's thing about where's the money coming from is big to me. And the other thing is, if this is largely going to take place during the summer or spring or whatever, I don't really like to see too much disruption of, much like, say, when the movies come to town, you know? And I realize it's an economic issue, and sure, I'm glad to see them here, but it is an awful pain to go downtown when they're down here filming. I was thinking more in terms of the main arteries of Chester being half roped off or whatever. We just went through the Victoria Street Bridge being out of commission for almost, what, 2 years, I believe, before it got fixed. And for those of us who live on Victoria Street, that was a serious pain. Having to go through the side roads of Chester, which didn't get paved in the last Butch, mostly to get out to the main drag. Anyway, that sort of thing where you tie up traffic or this and that and the other has to be minimized for me to be in favor of it. Chester's a hard enough town to get around in the summertime without blocking off lanes and doing all, and you know, the rock people who have started to encroach on the highway now, you know, with their big rocks claiming that area as their driveway and
Yeah,
whatnot, and this has been, those kinds of things, you don't want to get into that sort of mess.
Not really what we're.
It will derail your plans.
Agreed completely. Tonight, we're mainly focusing on, one is the commission interested in contributing to the plan.
Okay, sorry, then I have nothing to say.
Helping identify other partners to bring in, and then next steps from there.
Are all the commissioners on board for us committing to reaching out to some groups and having a
Sure.
meeting to talk about this? And there's any objection?
I could see a nice village of Chester, you know, what do you call that when you poke your heads in, you know, your
Oh, yeah.
village of Chester and it's a sailor or whatever, and because people love having those pictures, you know,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
blueberry or the whatever.
Selfie spot.
Okay, so we'll definitely commit to convening a meeting, we'll reach out to, organizations and groups in the village, maybe some that aren't quite formed, some that are specifically formed. And we will, commit to getting something to you so we can take advantage of your budget.
Did you, Heather have a question? No,
Yeah,
you're
Heather.
here.
I was just gonna make a point that when we did the survey about the baskets, there's a lot of ideas
Yeah, we
in
had a
there that we
big
can probably
survey.
tap into.
Yeah. And, gosh, I'll bet you we had more than 50, not all of them implementable, but nevertheless, they were ideas coming from individuals that are useful to follow up.
And if I may, just as a administrative thing, is there someone that Ashley and I should follow up with in next week sometime? Would be your Heather, is that the best?
Yes,
way to do it?
Heather's our appointed administrative human. And hopefully she'll feel better in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate you coming by and I don't know if I dare speak for all of the commissioners, but I feel quite excited about the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to the exit, but.
Yeah, and by the way, we have no water, so no flushing.
What, in the building here?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see the last minute email there.
Oh,
Yeah, the water had to be turned off late this afternoon.
good.
Making weird
Anyone
noises
coming?
all the whole building.
Have they got the plumbers on the way or whatever?
I wasn't talking.
Not a plumbing issue. I don't know.
No water.
Well, no water.
Oh, the well went dry. Okay, I was thinking a pipe burst somewhere and something, you know. That would be easier to do. This.
Just plain old well.
That's fixable.
I spent the entire afternoon on.
We're almost
well
there.
issues. I'm so tired of wells.
Use that water we use.
You know what?
Only sort of. There's a whole issue out there between the
You wanna jump her ahead?
very
You could do that.
expensive issue, by the way.
All it's not disruptive. I don't mind sitting for a few more minutes.
Are you happy to be there? Okay.
It's just suggesting that she could contribute a little information to item 7.2.
Which is the Chamber of Commerce thing?
Yeah, okay. All right, the volunteer appointment, that's not in camera, I assume?
No.
Okay. I am going to place on the table the motion that the Chester Village Commission appoint Nancy Hatch to a 3-year term on the Chester Fire Services Committee from October 17th, 2025 to October 16th, 2028. And as background, as you know, we advertised appropriately to see if anyone wanted to compete for the position. No one other than Nancy applied. Her application is in your packages. And as we all know, Nancy was formerly our chair, and she has been sitting on the fire committee for several years, and so she's up to speed on what's going on. So I have placed the motion on the table. May I have a second? Thank you, Gloria. Any discussion? I think this time we should take a vote. All in favor? Aye. No objections, passed unanimously for the record. Thank you. Shall we reverse dog waste and chamber so that Ashley may address us?
I think so. Yeah.
You may come ahead of the dog waste, Ashley. Yeah, as you know, this is our first kick at the can. Well, I think everybody has just heard about it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can give you a little background. Through some of the other work I was doing, having a municipal chamber again was constantly being brought up by small businesses, actually in the village and outside the village. With a little bit of digging and also a survey that I sent out community-wide, I believe the village commission also got a copy. It came back very positive with businesses wanting the municipal chamber back and with some ideas of services that could be provided. So through my digging, I did find the last sort of standing. I don't know if I can really call anyone board members, because it's been so long, but board members who are kind of holding things together, bank account, checkbook, that whole thing.
Well, they still exist. I was wondering how they got a
They,
president and a treasurer when they didn't exist.
well, they didn't they didn't stop existing, they just stopped functioning.
I see.
They didn't file any official documents saying that we're done, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Cause it makes it much easier to get things going. So in the meantime, I have found a group of volunteers from throughout the municipality who are acting as sort of an interim board. They stepped up, they're working with who was left from the chamber before. Or current, and we're working on putting it back together. So on the 28th, so what we need to do is have an AGM, update bylaws, elect a full new board. And have members again. That was the big thing of what sort of. Canceled or not canceled, affected the last group as they stopped collecting memberships. Which does not work with the Board of Trade Act. So they were no longer able to function as a chamber, but they never fully dissolved. So once we have this AGM, file the necessary documents, we can have a functioning municipal-wide chamber of commerce to work for our business community.
Have you had, any feedback, or like, I guess what I'm asking is, are you having pre-registration or are you just gonna cross your fingers and hope for the best?
I've sent out, we've been promoting it through email invitations, phone calls. The volunteer board themselves are making phone calls. I do have an RSVP online, or you can just email me for people who want to come and sign up. We're doing everything that night, so it's as convenient as possible. So you'll arrive early, we'll take your membership form, membership fee, and then you're an active member and we slide right into the AGM. It's gonna be at the Chester Basin Region.
Yeah, now, we as a commission, are we eligible to be a member or not?
I'm going to check with one of our board members who I was extremely lucky to get. This is what he does. He works with chambers. So I'm going to review the bylaws with him and see. I would still love if a member of the village commission wanted to come to the AGM.
I suspect we can't be members, but we can probably be, I don't know, honored guests or something.
Still love.
Yeah.
For you to be able to work with us.
Associate members or some such thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
can't,
I will
I'm having
certainly,
surgery
yeah.
next week. Knee surgery,
Yeah.
won't be up.
She's our patient this week. But I will come as the
Is,
chair.
I'm sorry, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you.
No, that's okay.
Is there any significant amount of money and checkbooks and things extant from the older bunch? How much money have they got in the bank?
I can't disclose the full amount, but I can say they have money to get going.
So it's a significant amount. It's not like $20 or something.
No,
Yeah.
they have, there's money to get them going. So even if people are asking for at least for the first year while they're getting their feet under them and getting things going. The annual membership fee for a business will be $50 and for a nonprofit will be $30.
It's a pretty modest amount.
Oh, yeah, it was
Just-
cheap.
And then they can review it as they get going and as people are seeing value and more people join.
Who was the last president, for example? I have no idea if it's like.
Oh my God, the last report I have, right now it's functioning between two, a gentleman who has moved away. And then Jennifer, who also works with BBDC.
Jennifer.
Oh, yes.
I her last name's not going right there.
Yeah, right.
She works with the BDC, she usually helps with Chester Village Christmas. Jennifer,
Jennifer.
long hair.
Fraser, Malcolm.
Thank you, very good, yes.
So, okay, so yeah, I guess I was once a member as well many years ago. When I owned the pharmacy and, it was like that, or my partner and I owned.
The last stage,
Yeah.
I think the report I have is from 2018. And then COVID hit and it just went.
Yeah.
What, in very broad terms, are the functions of the chamber?
We are starting fresh, so the chamber, there'll be cost benefits, so insurance, fuel. Other things that the board can negotiate based on the amount of members they have. There can be member to member benefits if a member of the chamber wanted to offer services at a reduced rate to another member. There is having a cohesive voice to come chat to council. And bring business concerns and business ideas. It also helps the municipal council do things with businesses they cannot do on an individual level. The NGA does not allow them, for an example, to give money to individual businesses. But should the chamber exist and we do something like a business facade program or some other improvement program, the chamber can then help us make that happen.
And what has been the response to the Village Merchants Association? Have they made?
I've informed them, I don't want this to be seen as any form of competition. Would love to have them back and forth, because the municipal chamber will work with businesses that the Merchants Association doesn't work with. Right, so we would love to have it back and forth, they've been invited to the AGM, I haven't gotten a response back.
But
they
if
have-
you invited the individual persons that.
I contacted the businesses as well as the Merchants Association themselves, so that everyone was on the same page.
Yeah, I'm thinking about membership, like can a group belong or is it individuals?
That'll be up to the board to decide on once they're official after the AGM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions? I'm dominating the question scene
Okay.
here.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see how many people show up.
Yeah, because I've heard negative and positive
Yeah.
on the street.
Not too much people going, oh, this is what happened last time. They
Mhm.
realize that we can start fresh.
Yes, I have no idea what happened last time.
Well,
I've heard,
yeah,
I've heard lots of
it,
gossip, and war stories.
it devolved into a sort of, oh, let's have lunch once a month, and that was what happened.
And the group, I can
Or
say,
let's have dinner or something like that.
at least the interim volunteers I have together right now, they're pretty committed to making some interesting things happening.
Yeah.
Like training, what else, what, you can help with the visitor information center, all these things.
And they've agreed to sit on the
He
new,
knows how to push my buttons.
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's what they do.
Well, we'll see,
Yeah.
they have all offered, but still at the AGM, we have to see if anyone else. Put their hand
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
but they're committed, and should they be elected or?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
It can be a great community help nursing.
And I can say so far, the RSVPs have been pretty good,
Good.
Good.
so.
Yeah, from my point of view, I wasn't sure how to RSVP, whether we were RSVPing as, like, I would come just as the chair as an observer, or if we were eligible to RSVP as potential members, so you'll have to sort that out for us.
But it was very good to have you there as support, and then we can get the membership figured out. Members.
Okay, everybody happy?
Yeah.
Anybody have
Sure.
anything else?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Then I
thanks,
guess we're on to
yeah.
dog poop.
Yeah.
Sure, you don't have anything more to talk about.
Hey, go in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ashley.
Ashley in the water.
Oh, no, what? For the first time.
Okay, what page are we on?
14.
14?
Yes, I think, yeah.
I'm Peter Rose, Suzanne Stiles, who's she? I should know. her.
Awesome.
I also got an email from Blaine.
Who?
Hodgins.
Blair Hodgman.
Oh,
Blair Hodgins.
oh, yes,
He
well,
was very upset about the dog poop. And
She
apparently
walked two little dogs.
yeah, they're lawyers down at Phillips.
Yeah.
office,
a dog poop bag at the base of a light pole on Queen Street.
Oh, yeah, they're
I
everywhere.
was
now.
not very happy about it. So, Heather, I asked you to find out who has jurisdiction over this, because, that I don't know, under any, bylaws or anything that the village has jurisdiction over dog poop. We have jurisdiction over many things, but not dog.
Alas, Fred, the Director of Public Works, is on vacation this week, so
Okay.
I'm meeting with him on Monday, but I wasn't able to talk to him this week, so. I don't have an answer for you tonight.
And does anybody have any thoughts about this? It's something that's, it's a brand new subject to me. Is this something that you guys have noticed before, or is this?
It's been coming up before.
Yeah.
But the problem is enforcement. How do you enforce?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
somebody
always
with-
been the problem.
You take it with you.
Well, I assumed that people who have dogs were more responsible than that, you know?
Well, they figure if they put it in a bag, then they've done their bit.
Yeah, that's it. They used to throw it in the post office until they put a sign
Yeah.
saying, don't put waste in the post office garbage can.
Can
Yeah.
we have a dog poop garbage can, a specialty garbage can?
Well,
That
they're,
has dog poop on, well, maybe not dog poop.
wherever there's bags, Cause there's free bags, which a lot of
In the
communities
park
do
and
not have
places like
that,
that.
there are garbage cans right there.
Yeah,
But people.
Already?
Yeah,
For God's sake.
people are lazy.
Well, yeah, they,
We
you
have,
know,
I'm sorry, we have, okay,
So by the roadblock, there's a post where
But
you
who
can get
provides-
free, the municipality must provide the bags, which is a terrific service. And
and
it's
in the
almost all,
park, there used to be one.
and up by the trailhead, there's always one of those garbage things right
Yeah.
nearby.
yeah.
But if your dog poops 500 meters away, you better-
Road, please.
so they don't, okay, so they use the bag, but they don't wanna take it home. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically,
you should,
or put it anywhere that's
they don't want
provided for such a thing, because they might have to walk an extra 10 feet to put it in there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, in this particular picture, that's like a dump there, it's not just the individual bag here and there, look at that.
There's, well,
There's
there's.
20 or 25 bags there,
The
you know?
woman, the woman I spoke to actually moved them all out of the way, and then people took.
where is that, Chloe?
I had no idea.
Big
It
loop.
says Pigloop, but I had no idea where.
there's some abandoned land or like vacant land along there.
But-
He said this is right next to her, this property borders her.
Borders her
this
property.
Borders her property.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where she lives.
I could
So,
see
well,
why
we
she
can
said
find that out, but I certainly have no objection to spending the money to put a sign up that says, please respect your neighbors and take your dog poop bag home with you.
That's been tried, but
I guess-
try it again.
Yeah,
You're
get
not
up,
allowed
force
to
it.
use the word poop, but
Yeah, we need a,
Shit.
we need a poop officer or something, I don't know, but without catching them in the act, how can you prove who they belong to, you know?
We should wait until, do you know, Tom, does the bylaw officer control dog poop? I don't know, I feel like.
but how would they ever catch
No,
them, you know?
no, I know.
Yeah, it's the
But
catching,
I mean,
that's the hard
clearly
part.
this particular place is a popular poop,
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah,
so I mean, maybe.
I would go,
Maybe if we put a sign there that said, and it also makes the village visible to the dog food dumpers to say, kindly be good to your neighbors, don't dump your dump.
I'm cynical about them doing anything about it, unfortunately, it'll just.
Yeah, but here's the point though, every car that drives by the Village of Chester sign knows that we care about dog food.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I
yeah.
think at the rink, there's a set of garbage boxes, like that's where they would have to go, right, to the rink.
Where I don't. See, they're back in the rink as opposed to at
At
the,
the end,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
No, there was a path through there, people used to use it, still do.
Yeah, they had some like. Just random boxes along the,
Find
you know
out
what I
where-
mean, like,
Find out where the site is and put a box there.
yeah. A sign in a box and you
Yeah,
can
sign in a
mix.
box.
Looks like it's.
okay, Heather, just look up a little bit about the cost of signs, boxes, where this Suzanne style is and bring it back to us at the next meeting.
Yeah, where that dump is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look.
And then we'll put Gloria in her wheelchair and just sit her outside there
Watching it.
and tell her to guard.
With a pointed stick.
Yeah.
You're pooping you, you're pooping too. Okay. Okay, so the action is, we have staff.
Yeah, that's enough, let's fob it off on that.
Okay, so, next item on the agenda is simply for information, Nova Scotia government amendments to the code of conduct, how much more difficult are they making it?
Doesn't
Go
apply
ahead,
much to us, though.
Actually, I was at the regional AMANS meeting this morning. And there's some concerns about this from staff. Because what this does is it says. It means that the public can no longer go to an independent
Yeah, I
investigator.
read that, yeah.
So they have to go. A counselor can, or commissioner can make a complaint about their own unit. If you've got a problem with somebody in another unit that you're working with. There's no provision for that. There's also no provision for staff to make a complaint under under this new rule. And they are supposed to be like staff volunteers, all those other people are supposed to be covered under this code of conduct. plus the new harassment legislation that just came out, you'll recall we talked about last time, so there's some concern that this is a little heavy, like it's a bit too much of a blanket.
So are they going to revise it again?
Well, what, we were speaking with, the senior person with the municipal advisors. He wouldn't recommend to AMANs that they try to address it with the province independently. They said they should partner with NSFM. And I've raised it with just Mitchell at the Association of Nova Scotia Villages to see if we should get that.
So at this point
Get
in
them
time,
some
things are
advocacy.
fuzzy.
Yeah, it just,
Okay.
I hadn't realized the implications when I first put this together. That's what's going on.
All right, then in that case, I think that we'll just wait for an update on it. There's no need for us to take up time or action on it. Okay, the AMAN's training opportunity, managing anger and hostility, one more training session. Did anybody read that? Are they aware of it? It's called Managing Anger and Hostility, page 22.
22.
It's a
Oh, sorry, I
webinar.
corrected the page numbers on all the other ones.
Yeah,
Another one?
yeah, I know. They love these training sessions, don't they?
This one does have a cost, so it's geared primarily towards communication people, but anybody who talks to constituents could run into this, so.
But I mean,
I'd like to
my
go to
theory
it,
is if you're a politician, you probably already know pretty much whatever they're going to teach you. What is the cost associated with it?
I can't remember, I think it was around 155.
And is it a webinar?
Yes. Yeah, these folks, Red Brick, did some training at the AMANS conference last month.
Well, I mean, the one training session that we had here from AMANS was, I mean, it would have put a kindergartner to sleep.
Well, this isn't AMANS, this is an independent consultant that they've engaged in this.
Is this required?
No, not at all.
Good.
Oh, not at all.
God.
No, but I don't.
You
I
go,
don't
you
anticipate
tell us.
you guys would.
You go and tell us, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm just, this endless stream of managing our emotions and shit starting to get on my
Yes,
nerves.
Heather? I mean, you're not.
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
what's the
cranky
problem
with
here?
people.
It's more of like handling it from the public, because it's changing all the time, how we're getting it, especially online. So it's basically.
Well, if you get cranky things online, you just don't reply.
Are we getting that here?
Once in a while, not as much here.
Just hit the delete
No, a lot
button and
more
be done
everywhere,
with it.
believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us are intelligent enough to understand that you're not gonna go pounding up on some guy that's mouthing off at you outside the door. Yeah, I mean, you have to try to keep your tone neutral but this, we know all this stuff, you
Yeah.
know? And if this guy comes after me, then I'm gonna take a ball bat to him and that's the way.
You're on the camera here.
No, I
No,
this
I-
happened to me some years ago. When Lumpy was gonna come and do me, and remember, well, Glory would have that. And I consulted the RCMP and said, well, what should I do here? And they said, well, let him make the first move and then put your baseball back to him, you know? I mean, there was certain things I was told during that thing about how to handle these kinds of situations. I never forgot, of course, I'm not gonna actually physically assault somebody. But, there are other ways to handle it, and I think most of us are aware of that.
But this seminar is concentrating on communication
Yes.
and social media.
Yes, which I don't
Yeah.
participate in anyway, so.
De-escalations.
Yeah, and if Heather wants to go, I have no objections, or watch it or do whatever, maybe Tom or somebody finds an interest in that
Not
sort of
really,
thing.
no.
No,
No,
Just me, okay.
okay, I personally don't think that there's any need for Heather to take it either, especially since there's a cost associated with it, but.
Don't we have money set aside for training and stuff like that?
Yeah. but
Are we exceeding our budget just yet?
It was
Yeah.
nice that the training was useful.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, do you want to vote on it?
No.
She's going, so never mind your business.
Oh, she doesn't want me to, I won't. so.
No, I mean, if it's that big a deal, or.
They're good consultants, so. Anyway,
Okay, Nova Scotia Office of the Ombudsman for information
Yeah.
from Heather.
yeah, again, this was information we got from municipal affairs to all the villages. Just letting them know about World Ombuds Day. So information about what that office does is attached on here. There's really no ask around that other than just raising awareness. So it's just for information.
Yes.
Did anybody ever actually use the ombudsman?
Not personally, no.
Someone.
Okay, Chair Geraldine. I had intended to keep the Visitors Information Center open until the end of October minimally. On Saturday and Sunday afternoons, because that's when the Oak Island people have their tram tours, and then they often send the people on the tours over to the station. To do the Oak Island Museum, and then they tend to come into the Visitors Information Center. But I think, you know, the weather's changing, people are doing things, I think we're done. Last weekend we did it, and I just feel that we've done it for the year.
Yeah.
So I'm intending to shut her down. Just to let everybody know. We're proceeding on with the Zoe Valet application. There's a few little twists and tweaks. You guys all saw the report, and there's very modest little things. Our lawyer asked us, is this appropriate in public?
It's in Canada.
Yeah, that
Okay.
should be.
Yeah.
So, we're proceeding along. That's my report, period. So Heather, your report.
Yes. So the September bank statement has been reconciled and their figures are there on the report. Of what's in our operations account and our 4 investment accounts. We'll go through the variance report at the end of this. So insurance has been renewed for 2025, so that's all completed. And I had mentioned that the premium increase was 4.8% rather than the budgeted 7%, so this is good for us. The renewal is effective October 11th last week, and insurance for any potential new services will have to be quoted separately when and if the time comes. So I'll talk about this when we get to it, but it's not all broken out. I don't have any of the invoices yet, and they give me a breakdown of how much the premiums apply to which piece of our operations, so that's not in there yet. Follow-ups from the September 17th meeting. A letter of request was sent to the municipality's CAO about the RCMP advisory committee. And we are awaiting a response. Actually, I saw her this morning and I didn't think to ask her. Public Works snow removal, I have a meeting next week with the municipality's director of Public Works. And the fall newsletter, please note that sadly, the newsletter has been delayed due to the new proposal work and the Canada Post strike. So we're a little behind schedule on that. We're not forgetting it exists, but we haven't had.
Well, there wasn't much point in putting it together when they.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So we'll still chip away at it. Grants, our contractors are facing staffing and supply chain issues from the US and are running out of weather. I've requested an extension on the federal enabling accessibility fund period for the Lido washrooms accessibility project that we were hoping would be done this month. And the funders have agreed up to another year. They said, we can let them know the date when we have a better idea. So I'm not actually sure yet what that's gonna look like. I should have a better idea in the next couple of weeks. Canada Summer Jobs has sent out an alert that they'll be accepting 2026 applications from November 4th to December 11th. So we will submit an application for lifeguards as usual, but also consider it for the BIC records digitization or whatever.
The
We've got a
lifeguards,
couple
there's,
things.
there's no grant program through Red Cross for lifeguard. Really?
No, we've been working Canada Summer Jobs for a long time.
Go take it.
No, I missed this.
Okay, Lido Pool, I don't want to belabor this one, but safety issues have been flagged with the proposed hybrid ramp. Which I'm not gonna get into until I know a bit more. The potential is there for curious children to swim under it and get trapped. And if we were to put ceiling at the side, it would make cleaning the pool really difficult. So we're having to rethink this again, and I'm not gonna talk about it anymore until I have more information. I had a meeting with all of the contractors down at the pool. It was quite sad, us all standing around down there trying to figure it out. So I don't have enough information to go on yet what this may turn into yet again. Although there is certainly an option of tapping into some of that grid funding we have from the province that we have not started to use yet.
What was that originally allocated for?
The grid, it was for the same project, but the next
stage.
ramp going into the pool facility.
So was the ramp, okay, the pool's here, the ramp is going in this way or this way, along the side?
It's. The pool is like so,
Yeah.
ramp is here.
That's
Here's
here,
the stairs coming down.
yeah. So can't they just? You're gonna go in here to it or on this side? Feed
There's
onto
a
it.
platform,
Yeah,
like so when you go on to it,
yeah,
there's
okay.
there's specs in the building code. Cause it has to be big enough for a turn.
Yeah, okay, well, can't that just be, is it gonna be that hard if they just like close that in?
Well, that's the problem, like the platforms were all meant to be concrete, if you'll
Yeah.
remember, but then we were looking at a metal ramp in between the platforms, and that's what we're starting to realize is gonna be potentially a safety problem, so,
I mean, we
I'm really tired of
that it had
Yeah.
up to the contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring back plans that will resolve it in terms of the building
I'm
codes
so-
and all that stuff.
I'm so happy we're doing this. Yeah. So I apologize if this is gonna come back yet again, but I'll bring it back as soon as I can. The roadside Lido Pool signs, the supporting structure has been installed. They had to come in with an excavator and put the concrete all down.
This is the big one, is it?
Yeah, so the frame is there. I'm not sure what the date on the final sign installation is. I've got a question outstanding to them, but I haven't heard back.
It started to snow in Upper Canada.
I
so
know.
they gotta get their act together.
Yeah.
Fire services, the most recent approved minutes for the Chester Fire Services Committee and MODC's Fire Advisory Committee are attached for information. And FYI, the RFPs for phase 2 of the fire station project close tomorrow at 3:00. Thus far, there's been 33 RFP downloads for design and 23 for project management.
Holy mackerel.
Most of these would be speculative, but we still expect it's gonna be substantial work for the evaluation team, so that they've been selected and they'll be working with. Libby Vant, who's the municipality's procurement officer, to work through that process. That's kicks off next week. Association of Nova Scotia Villages Conference, Commissioner Noss and I attended the 2025 conference in Port William. The highlight of day 1 was the anti-hate workshop from Craig Upshaw. He was briefly the EDI coordinator for Lunenburg County, quite like Craig. Day 2 was stronger with Minister of Municipal Affairs John Lohr there for a Q&A, which was continued by Municipal Advisor Jason Hahn when he departed. Jason also shared Municipal Affairs perspective on the value of an ANSV staff person. The group then went into separate commissioners and clerk treasurers roundtable meetings, which are always very useful and too short. At the AGM following the conference, the staff person approval was deferred as there are a number of village commissions that are still outstanding regarding their participation. It looks like New Minas may be coming around, so that's good.
Which other ones,
Pardon me?
which other ones are still?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know they just don't have commitments
Yeah.
for all of them, and some of them that have, it hasn't come up to their meeting yet. So there is a special meeting scheduled for November 20th at 1 o'clock online over Teams. And please let me know if any of you can or are interested in coming, because only elected officials can vote.
You can vote over Teams, can you?
Yes.
Have you noticed that Teams is becoming more and more popular than Zoom? Do you know why?
Mostly because it's free in the Microsoft
That's a good
package.
way.
That's good.
But it's an absolute crap program.
Yeah.
I know, I
Pretty
need it.
clunky.
I've worked with video conferencing software for literally 20 years. It is absolutely the worst
I
one I've ever
need it.
used.
Yeah, I've got two of the organizations that I'm on board with are using Teams and
Yeah, it's terrible.
okay, sorry to interrupt.
The date, is that November 20?
November 20th at 1 o'clock.
Could you put something out there?
Yep.
One of us should be here to vote, I guess.
Oh,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
I had thought about it, but I'm just not sure.
Send it
Schedules.
around.
Sure,
Yeah, which they-
Okay.
Well, unless I die or something.
Then, okay.
That would screw things up,
Okay,
wouldn't it, Gerald?
But, assuming nothing more happens to me, I will be here on November.
I don't care as long
20th.
as somebody's here to vote.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I would be interested in this too.
Watch this, I'm putting it in my calendar right now, Tom.
But if you plan to be here, we only get one vote.
Yeah, there's only one vote here.
Okay, so, sorry, that took a little longer than I anticipated. So we have the Q2 budget variance report. So in a nutshell, we're sitting pretty much where you would expect for this time of the year. We have 3/4 of
Look
our
at that.
tax advance has come in. So we're at 70% on revenue, and we are at just shy of 50% on total expenses, so it's all.
So we could have gone up to 75% and still been on track.
Well, no, we got the Q3 advance a little early.
Oh, early,
Usually
okay,
we
so,
get it
yeah, that wouldn't have been in.
After the
yeah, it wouldn't have
September
been in
30th
there.
date, but we got it a few days early, so it was in the account.
A lot of those notes seem to be because we don't have an invoice or because we haven't been informed what the costs are gonna be as of now or whatever.
Yeah,
That was my
things
feeling.
And also because we're 2 weeks into October now, and usually at the end of a quarter, it takes.
Yeah,
Almost the next
before
whole
everything
month to
comes
get
in,
all the
yeah.
invoices. So. We have our quarterly tax advance, we still have to bill the fire committee for Q2 of our time. Yeah, and so there's some items in here that just also explain where some reallocations are gonna come in to fund the visitor information center. Cause it's not all there yet, there's
There's
some
a
other-
few odds and ends.
there's a few odds and ends that are still outstanding, so Maxine and I will work on a breakdown of what the spend has been on our trial year. So we have an idea, and a lot of it would not need to be repeated because a lot of it is setup costs.
Yeah, and don't forget too, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll have a student next year, Randy, so that'll be a grant. Plus, MODC, thank you to Tom, who's not paying us any attention right now. We're talking about doing more partnership with MODC on the Visitors Information Center right now, so. The costs should be much lighter next year, because A, we don't have to set up, and B, we may be in partnership.
But there's nothing here that I see that needs any kind of
Yeah,
explanation right
Okay.
now, yeah. On my part, shall I
well,
say,
I
yeah.
understand completely, Randy.
It looks like most of what's not yet here is due to delays in invoicing or getting
Yeah.
invoices, and I don't have a problem with that. You can't really make decisions, so, you know.
No, there's really nothing I'm concerned about that has come up so far. I was worried about where the visitor center was gonna land, but we seem to be okay. Within the extra allocation we did, so. Yeah, I'll be interested when cause I do these every month for myself, but you guys only get the fancy one.
Yeah.
And quarterly, so I'd be interested to see what it's looking like in October.
Mm.
So anyone have any questions about the variance report?
Everybody okay? Moving on.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Heather. The Lunenburg County Accessibility Advisory Committee. We've had now 2 monthly meetings. There's really nothing to report. They're still struggling to get. They have new members onboarding, but one is still not approved. And once that person is in, then they anticipate moving forward more. But there's nothing new to report from that. Randy, did you even know?
Once again, it
Never
was
mind.
canceled, although there is some hint that maybe November's meeting will go ahead because however, the day he wanted to move it, we had it at November 11th, which obviously he wasn't thinking when he made it.
Yeah.
So we moved it to November the 12th, which is my annual dermatology assessment
Oopsie
in
daisy.
Halifax, but I already informed him. And he said he was thinking that maybe other people wouldn't be able to make up a quorum because it was moved.
Right.
And he said, we may have to move it to another day. And I said, if it stays on the 12th, I'm sorry, but I'll have to give my regrets. And I went,
Okay.
too bad. It might be the only time this year we get anything.
And
So there's nothing to
you
report.
think you're going to have our head of
We
meeting?
had a meeting and that's our
Okay.
first meeting since June.
Wow.
And we just squeaked into the quorum when someone signed in online. Because otherwise it's sort of a waste of time, because you can't vote on anything.
Yeah.
And they are really, main discussion was all about truth and reconciliation and the recommendations and aligning those with municipal rules and how that fit in. Ashley's pretty involved with that. And not much.
Not much else
It
to
goes on, and there's more training and training and training.
Okay.
So, anyway, that was that.
Okay. Although there is no new business and we will be moving in camera, I was wondering if our esteemed counselor has anything he'd like to share with us before he excuses himself from the in-camera meeting.
I'd like to say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to always come to these meetings and get informed. Second of all, I am excited what Brian and Ashley brought to us.
Yeah,
I think with our growth plan that has been laid out through their department and the opportunity of 20 of the highways, people definitely interested in our municipality, which in my world, if the municipality wins, the village wins. If the village
Absolutely.
wins, the municipality wins. So it's not a division, it's about working together. And I gladly work with you on little projects to help our village better. I have lots of suggestions. Heather and Jody and I have shared many
yeah.
thoughts over the last year. I'm into my first year and I want to thank everyone. It's been a great learning year for me. I'm still energized and looking forward to the next 3 years and working with everyone to go forward and moving what we can to do for our communities.
And thank you, Tom, for being as interested and as involved as you are, because previously we did not get much attention from our council.
No teamwork.
Yeah,
You're everywhere.
yeah,
We see you.
yeah.
go
Get
to-
around.
you go to
That's what we
everything,
say, you get
yeah.
around.
You're visible.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Good
visible.
way.
That's good.
You're doing a good job, boy.
Appreciate you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We're about to move in camera.
Maybe check it, the pig.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a picture?
See ya.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.